Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome back to another Clearmud live stream. Let's get straight into it, shall we? How's everybody's experience with Buzz thus far? I'm very curious. Let's make sure we are live. Good morning, good afternoon. We are live. Yeah, so today we're bringing it back with some ideation and starting that process of that bootcamp prep for Buzz. And I really want to take a different approach, but I'm just collaborating with my marketing team here at this point. I had them evaluate the first two boot camps, one from OpenClaw, one from Hermes, and then I had them look into what makes a great school community, right? Not to say we're making a school community. What I mean is we're using the foundation that people follow on school to release it here on YouTube for free. Yeah, I feel like if we pick a task that requires enough attention, we can tackle every single part of Buzz, essentially, right? Building out agents, building out an agent team, setting workflows, how to set up projects locally. I don't know if we would handle the shared compute because this machine can only handle so much. Depending on the price, assuming that new framework desktop isn't too crazy in price, I'll probably snag one right when they're released and turn that into like a Buzz shared compute host, to where I then migrate this existing community that I'm starting to build out here. Yo, what's up, Yet? Oh, for some reason, why aren't pinning comments working here? Let me see what's going on. Did social stream change something? I see your comment. Buzz is the most difficult to learn. It's very overwhelming. Any tips? Honestly, now, is this in comparison to OpenClaw or Hermes? What's the context here? Compared to what? Because I've found once you get everything set up, it's incredible. It's a lot more seamless and easier to just deploy agents and start playing with them than it is on OpenClaw or Hermes. So I'm curious as to what you're comparing it from, or maybe what struggles you're running into. Maybe I can give a better answer. Yo, what's up, Militia? Welcome. How we doing today? Let me figure out why I can't pin comments. Give me one moment. Usually works no problem. Let me just try replacing this link here. Weird. You know, might be one of those days where I can't pin comments. What's up, Kaval? How we doing today? Damn, that's a bummer. I can't pin. Hold on. Let me try to sort this out, and I'll make sure I answer everybody. In the meantime, shoot any questions you have, and I'll get to them. But I'd also love to hear, how's everyone's Monday going? Are you all having a great start to the week here? Let me just try creating a whole new browser pop-up here. Let's see. Browser, new. that. Hey, I just copy pasted the link and now it's working. So I'm going to delete that old one there. Leave this one here. Rename that. Pinned comments. Yo, what's up, Maestro? How we doing today? Do I prefer Buzz, Hermes, or OpenClaw? At the moment, Buzz and OpenClaw. Hermes, don't get me wrong. It's great. I'm just not relying on Hermes as much, especially with how stable OpenClaw has become. It's a bit insane to me. Now, I will admit Hermes Agent desktop app is maturing quite a bit, as expected, right? We did a video about Hermes desktop and I did not like it for the first month. Possibly it's been 2 months now. But its most recent updates, I'm actually using it now. I'm using it over the Hermes Agent dashboard. So there's something to that, right? We kind of foresaw that it would mature at some point. There's still some features that I wish they would incorporate, but nevertheless, like, I'm starting to rely more on Hermes. I'm handing off code bases to Hermes. I didn't get the time this weekend to work on infrastructure like I normally do. Nephew's birthday party. I was pretty much out 2 days for pretty much all of the days. I was touching grass, getting some sunlight, no computer screen, right? It was nice. It was a nice disconnect. It was a nice reset. I really needed that. But nevertheless, this coming week and weekend, I'm putting a lot of time into creating certain workflows so that all of the code bases I hand off for certain apps and websites that are in production, they get analyzed on a daily basis, health checkers on a weekly basis, fix any bugs. Well, bugs are daily. Weekly bases are features that I add to the list saying, hey, I think we should incorporate this or look into incorporating this on this site or this app, right? So that's going to be Hermes's responsibility. But when it comes to my day-to-day, to this day, it's still OpenClaw. It's still OpenClaw. I'm not going to jump ship. They have become so much more stable. It's insane. But now Buzz, I'm targeting from a marketing standpoint because I love the capabilities of, the teams that you can build natively within Buzz, which are great. There's no crazy workarounds you have to do for the Cloud Code harness, which is great. I'm primarily using Codex, if I'm being honest, but I love how I can start an idea in Buzz and then tag in agents within the thread to then create a thumbnail. Well, now that's a part of my team, but create X copy, create LinkedIn copy, hand it off to OpenClaw to add it to the content calendar. So like there's a lot of easy collaboration that you can do within Buzz that I really, really, really love. The one thing I don't like is Hermes and Buzz. I haven't spent more time than the initial setup, but it's just not working for me. I don't see the point, especially with how much the Hermes Agent desktop app has matured. But for OpenClaw and Buzz, it's working solid. There are a few little caveats where my OpenClaw agent can't pull from images that you share in Buzz. You either have to message that agent in Telegram or create a shared repository so that he can access that. So little weird caveats because of how it's configured, but let's get to the questions here. I mean, set up the agents, make them talk to each other. I've never used Slack before. Maybe it's that. Yeah, I think so. Slack, it's not that big of a learning curve, but if you've never used it before, I could see how detouring or confusing it might be. It's easy once you get the hang of it. There is an initial just configuration you have to do with, explaining how you want those comms to happen within any given channel. And you just kind of take the steps and work through, prompt your agent in the DMs to say, hey, I'd like you to operate in this sense in this channel. And you'll get it working. It's pretty easy. Nice. Yeah, all in due time, man. Listen, you know me. You should know me by now. Don't go chase every new shiny toy, right? just because your favorite creator or big YouTube channel says OpenClaw is dead, Hermes is the new one, now Buzz is dead, or Buzz is the new one, everything else is dead. It's you got to understand, you know, they're creating content around clicks and attention and surfing trends, and Buzz is trending, right? So there's going to be a lot of talk around Buzz. I love Buzz. I use it every day. But is it going to replace OpenClaw outright for me? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Hey, good to hear. Good to hear. Did QA testing, I must say. This is tough to do. My company transition me to QA from main infra engineering role. QA is that. I feel like I'd rather be an infrastructure engineer than a quality assurance engineer. You know what I mean? I understand though, but hey, you're in this tech. I mean, hopefully you can utilize agents to help alleviate some of that stress from the QA. Yo, what's up, Vida? Did you find the desktop to mobile sync to be unstable? No, works great for me. I did prompt agents while I was at my nephew's birthday through my mobile app. Worked just fine. I don't spend too much time out of mobile personally, but doing well. Got some planning for the next chapter here. Big moves. What's that? Hey, whatever team works for you, I'm rooting for you. I root for everybody who picks a lane and stays in it. You find something that works for you, use it. OpenClaw has worked for me because I put so much time into it. And now that the gateway's become more stable, it's like I'm in no rush to try to replace it. How do you compare it to Hermes, OpenClaw, and Discord channels? So Hermes, I'm not going to talk about because it's still a bit buggy within Buzz, at least the way I configured things in my environment. Now, I'm gonna put a little caveat here. A lot of people don't have the setup I have where Hermes is on a remote PC. A lot of people will install it on the root PC. I think in that case, the experience would have been much better, right? Between Buzz and Hermes. But because everything's remote, I'm running into difficulties, right? Some of the one of the biggest differences with my OpenClaw agent Muddy within Buzz is he could see images, but when it comes to taking that image and then working off of it, I have to send it to him either through a shared folder, a Google Drive, a mounted local directory that he can access on that VM, or just send him the image in Telegram, right? But for the most part, I haven't noticed any other blockers as far as like usability. Now, they're not replacing, Buzz isn't replacing Telegram and Discord yet for me. And then to finish answering your question, it's like within Discord, you can attach images, yada, yada, yada. There's no issues, right? So there's still that little issue with connecting my OpenClaw to Buzz to get that working seamlessly, right? So there's still that behavior. Yeah, you can. Oh yeah. Customize what? Are you talking about Buzz? Oh yeah. I mean, you're looking at a fork right here with my markdown render. I have an embedded browser. Activity splits off to the right so that it doesn't replace the thread that we're in. And then of course I had my own terminal, but I brought theirs in. I honestly don't like how theirs cuts up here. I'd rather just have it work outside of my slide-in bench. So I might have to make that change back. Haven't tried that yet, personally. Haven't tried that yet. I'm actually backlogged on a few videos I want to watch, and I'm kind of thinking, do I want to watch this right now with you guys? I don't care if I get I don't think we would get a copyright strike, but Riley Brown's been killing it with some of his videos lately, and I really want to take the time to watch them. It's just this weekend, didn't have that time. But let's finish reading this. If you guys could all collectively vote right now on what the bootcamp should cover for Buzz, what would you want it to cover? I'm very, very curious. I'd love to get everyone's feedback. And then if you're not interested in it, just say not interested. That's fine too. Ah, okay. Very nice. And you're talking within Buzz, right? Ah, it could be. So you're trying to run it strictly off of local models? Is this my understanding? You're not trying to connect a Codex or Claude Code or Claude. Let me rephrase that. They don't even call it Codex. An OpenAI or Claude subscription? Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, 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 I am, of course. Drew was my old neighbor, actually. He used to live right across the street. Small world. Small world. It was before he started the podcast and blew up like that. But he's since moved, I believe, Southern California, and then he's back in the, I want to say Northern Bay Area. It's long overdue. I need to give him a call and catch up. Yo, what's up, Sean? I'd like to figure out how to use it with a human team plus agents. Okay. So human team plus agents. Now, do you want to expand on that? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add all these suggestions within this thread I started for the bootcamp. And, okay, nice. Yeah, I haven't gone as far as white labeling it because I'm just not interested in doing that. That's awesome you did that. I just wanted to add more features so I spend more time in Buzz so that I have a squirrel brain naturally, right? So if I'm forced to open up Obsidian or open up a browser and I accidentally see something and I get sidetracked, well, there goes that 90-minute focus block for me personally. So I was thinking, how can I just spend more time in Buzz? And that's why I forked it and added all these features that I wanted, right? Down for the boot camp. I know nothing about Buzz. Okay, okay. This week, let's see. So this is top of mind because I'm having a better experience with OpenClaw and Buzz. I already know the video's not going to perform well, but that's not why I do videos, right? I think this will be very valuable. I'm just going to essentially connect, since I already have Muddy connected. I'm going to connect. Who should I connect? Probably Gary. Bring in the marketing, since I'm using marketing within Buzz so much. I'm going to bring in Gary. And then I was kind of thinking OpenClaw got better. Wise, this one was backlogged. Why is no one talking about it? It's like, this might be an OpenClaw week. I'm kind of feeling it to be an OpenClaw week, but at the same time, I kind of feel like it should be a Hermes desktop week. Just so that I carry into the weekend with a lot of momentum. It's kind of what I'm feeling. It just goes to show the small world we live in. Would a centralized file sync like sync thing help sharing of docs, etc.? I'm sure it would. I personally haven't used sync thing. Fizz is running Claude Sonnet. He's the main driver. Then I created another agent running Boca. Right? It really is. It really is. Running Boca. Am I sleeping under a rock? Boca LLM? What's Boca? This is what I was thinking. I was thinking Boca Raton, Florida. Oh, running locally. Ha. Got it. Got it. No, you and me both. You and me both. I I stopped at that comment because I squirreled and wanted to see what the heck is bokeh. Okay. Okay. So maybe what we'll do is how to configure Hermes agent plus buzz. My only like foresight into this bootcamp, OpenClaw plus buzz. You know, I would most likely start off of a fresh deployment. I would start a VM, do it that route so I don't accidentally expose something. But the nature of buzz is when you're setting up, you get private keys that you need to store safely. It's like I have this, hopefully it doesn't crash OBS, but I have this feature that I can run where I blur the screen. I just have to anticipate when I need to blur the screen. So doing this particular bootcamp live is gonna be a challenge from that perspective of not accidentally exposing private keys. But then again, I want to show every step of the process. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm on the fence. Do we do the bootcamp and then just delete the bootcamp and delete the installation and all the agents? I would like the option to keep it. I think it's just me being more yeah, I just need to be diligent about hitting this, you know. And look, it's not crashing OBS anymore. That's great. I know in the past I would hit it and the OBS stream would end. No, gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we did that in the last, remember we were demoing something? You took off a little early, but we did end up building that. Are you talking about like building out a plug and play buzz solution that you can resell to that industry? Is that what you're thinking? Or just the specific tools for that industry? Ah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think what I can also do is just do this, right? Maybe I can also restructure it to where I should be able to add a block here that only blurs the center. Because normally when you're setting up new agents, when you're initially setting up buzz, if memory serves me right, everything pops up in the center. So as long as I just have something here that blurs, I think should be good enough. I think that should be good enough. Now, do we really need this in the bootcamp, these two in the bootcamp, if I do dedicated long forms on them? Right? Because here's what I'm thinking from the perspective of this bootcamp is I want it to serve a specific purpose. That way anybody can copy its approach for any industry, any workflow, any task. It's just like the foundation that you need to apply across anything, really. Once we get into, into this, we're then kind of getting off topic with setting up everything else when I'm going to be doing these long form videos before the bootcamp. So part of me is thinking we don't include this in the bootcamp, but hey, if you guys want to see it, just I'm all ears. Be interesting to see Hermes and OpenClaw differences between local and remote connections. OpenClaw still only does the single connection between main and buzz. I'm about to test in another video that I'm going to record this week, trying to hook up Gary. we should be able to hook up Gary like any other. I just chose the main agent just for the sake of, you know, that's Muddy. That's my main guy. And then differences between local and remote connections. Interesting. Yeah. I'll have the budget for a new daily driver this coming month. I'm going to probably hold off until September. But once I get to that point, this old M1 turns into just a, you know, as I mentioned on previous live streams, I'm installing everything on the root. I'm giving everything computer access. I'm testing it from that perspective. And then my daily driver will continue to be, you know, practicing safety in mind. Like I always have for the most part. Yeah, plug and play tool with Buzz. Have to do internal data point connection where each case is node of knowledge and we connect nodes with relation to data points. Okay, okay. We might have to try this. Good afternoon, Mr. Baker. How we doing today? Yeah, I feel like these should be dedicated videos personally. So, but if I hear enough people in chat telling me to put that back in, I'll put that back in. I think how to configure workflows, how to utilize projects, repo system. Do your installations as videos so that you can easily censor the keys, then start the live bootcamp streams from it's a vanilla install point. Yeah, for sure. But when you're creating the agents, private keys do get exposed briefly on the screen. So I agree. I agree. Starting from we're already logged in with that new install, but individual agents do expose certain private keys just for a flash. And I know it's usually in the center. It pops up in the center. My favorite cuisine. Oof. That's tough. I'd have to say I'd love to say Portuguese, but I don't eat meat or fish right now. And Portuguese cuisine is predominantly meat and fish and pastries. Right now, Italian pizza. Pizza's like Neapolitan style pizza. Yeah. And then Asian. Southeast Asian, to be more specific. Love me some chili noodles. It's like my go-to. But then again, some good old roasted sweet potatoes with some steamed broccoli, some avocado, maybe some quinoa if I want those grains. That's a beautiful dish right there. It's so simple. Yep. All right, I'm going to start off with this edit. Português, mas eu falo mais brasileiro porque eu tenho mais primos lá no Brasil. As pessoas lá no Portugal pensam eu sou brasileiro porque o língua é mais tipo do Brasil. But I am Portuguese. I am Portuguese. Good stuff, man. I'll be looking out for the bootcamp. Yeah, right on. Hey, I'll schedule it as soon as possible. It is kind of a crazy time to schedule a bootcamp. We're not going to be able to do a Monday through Friday split because, you know, Thursdays I'm at a client office all day while I'm in the country. But I do want to get this up as soon as possible. So, and I don't know if it's going to be a full 5 days. I don't think we'll need 5 days for Buzz. That's the beauty of Buzz. It doesn't take as much to get up and running. It's very easy and seamless from that perspective when you're comparing it to the likes of Hermes and OpenClaw. So, yes, sir. You already know. I remember hanging out car windows when I was in Portugal for the Euro Cup. I think it was 04. When Ronaldo, it was his first like appearance in a I think he was still wearing the number 17 and he was still C Ronaldo on his jersey. Yeah, the old days when he was a youngin'. Oh my goodness. Yeah. This will be the proper thing. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thanks for the tips, Mr. Baker. Oh yeah, I remember. That's wild. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. How about yourself? Tariq? Tariq? I keep wanting to like give it a Portuguese spin. You're talking about THARIQ, I think is his name, on Twitter. I did not see the clash, but I did see that we got a reset. I did see that we got a reset. All right. So we're going to let them work really quickly. Let's just go check B's activity. And you know what? I probably should have just been prompting B. Dexter and X, they're X, and LinkedIn. I don't really need their feedback right now. But part of me does want to... do we want to do a movie day?
OpenClaw, which is soul.md. So it's like the soul of your...
While we also work.
Help you run your company, for example. What I believe will happen in the future is that even before
Let's do that.
you build a website, you're going to build that agent that's going to help you build a company. Most of the world still thinks about agents as something you prompt. Can we sort of automate even the prompting such that the agent can be doing useful work for me while I'm not on the computer?
Today, I'm having a conversation with Guillermo Rauch, the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, Versal. And today we're talking about agents, specifically how companies are using agents within their business. In this video, we talk about Versal's internal agent that
Boris. Yeah. Is that too loud, by the way? Respect, right? Oh, let me also fix that. Unlock, move that. Oh, wrong one. Move that up a little bit. There we go. Right on. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll bring you over to the dark side. Not even the dark side. Can't think of something clever to say right now. But you know what I mean. Yeah, because he's doing such a great job. I don't even think Tebow would change the way Anthropic communicates. I feel like that's a top-down issue. I don't even think that's like, you know, an employee issue. I think that's a limitation of what the employee is allowed to do issue, you know?
will use within the company. We also talk about whether companies need one God agent or a team of many agents. We also talk about the challenges of setting up agents right now and how to get started building agents that actually improve your business.
The B-side.
We also talk about open source models like Kimi K3 and a lot more. My goal with this conversation is to answer the following question. How do we, as business operators, employees, and individuals, use AI agents to be more productive? And if you like videos like these, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to this podcast. It helps me out a ton. Let's dive in. Guillermo, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Agent Native.
It's great to be here.
My first question to you is, obviously we have all these models coming out, right? We have Kimi, models from China, models built in the US, Claude, Fable, now Claude Opus 5. We have all these different platforms people can use. And my audience most people are business operators. They work in a big company. They want to use agents in their business to become more efficient and to become like a better team. Where are companies at in terms of implementing AI agents in their business?
Facts.
Yeah, when I think about, we can call it the agentic revolution, just like any new platform that has hit the internet or the software landscape, you think about the killer apps, right? When the personal computer came out, what were the killer apps? The word processor. For some of us playing video games on our personal computers and things like that. Then mobile came along, right? And I think the killer app of mobile in many ways was, not only shrinking interfaces from things that we used to use and putting them in a smaller screen, but enabling entire new use cases. And I think with agents, we see a similar thing. So number one, clearly one of the killer apps of agents is building software. In building software, or what you could call coding agents, happens to be a core capability of solving a number of knowledge worker tasks. Because when you think about, okay, I'm preparing a presentation for somebody, you occasionally will say, well, we have to do some data science over here in order to then, get a report or get some data back and put it into a slide. Or you'll say, I'll automate a bunch of different steps and summarize some documents, and then I'll put some other information into a slide. And so I think clearly one of the foundational parts of this new period of time where we do a lot of our work increasingly with agents is coding as a capability. And I think that this has transformed everyone's jobs, right? You can think of it as a number of sort of levels of expertise, I guess, when it comes to coding. So there are people like myself that can do agentic engineering, meaning, I've been programming for 20 years, and now if I sit down and face a really hard engineering task, I will use a coding agent to enhance my engineering. Then there's this new emergence of what you would call vibe coding, right? Which is everybody building a prototype of software or even a full stack application, depending on sort of where your ambitions are and maybe even how ambitious the application itself is. And so you have products like V0 and Lovable and things like this that are making it more, I guess they're democratizing building software, or even building the creative act, or enhancing the creative act of coming up with new software. I also think agents are, one of the killer apps is what I would call the run your company better agent, or the knowledge base plus data analysis plus project management agent, the sort of brain agent that sits alongside of you and disseminates knowledge, business intelligence, even day-to-day tasks like, who should I talk to within the company that is an expert in a certain task, like navigating the org chart, navigating what is to many overwhelming amounts of information that reside in the internal systems of a company. So to think of this as like making the company's backend more efficient. And as I mentioned, I think coding is this omnipresent capability. So to give you a concrete example from within Vercel, what we noticed pretty quickly is that anybody that's helping a customer, anybody that's trying to close a sale, anybody that's even building new software, needs to ask questions about, you know, what are our customers doing? When did they first reach out? How much time do we spend with them? How much do they use our...
I just had a thought, right? We haven't picked an industry yet. And before I go reading through this, you know, I've been getting a lot of interest in people wanting to hire me as a consultant, but I only offer one thing now, which has led me down a path of, with that one thing I offer, we do an initial audit of the business, as well as creating an opportunity map based off that audit, based off of pain points that we discover, pain points that are, you know, shared vocally, that are like predefined, but also things that they may not have seen. And then from there, we pick what our focuses each month are going to be. I'm starting to now offer just that as a flat rate one-time audit fee. It involves a call plus a 48-hour turnaround for the analysis, documentation, and recommendations, right? I need to build the subdomain for that so that I could walk the client through. I'm doing everything manually right now based off of, you know, my experience of doing it for the retainers. But nevertheless, I wonder, do I turn the bootcamp into that? I found to be like the best content I've ever made is making stuff that I need because I'm actually going to be using the thing that we're making. So what do you guys think about that? Do we focus the bootcamp around the idea of building a product, selling the product? And managing it. I'm just thinking about, because then that could be replicated across any product, any offering, any industry, right? What are your thoughts with this? I'm happy to go a little bit more kind of boilerplate if you guys would prefer, but I'm also like trying to kill two birds with one stone here, so to speak. Yo, what's up? How we doing today, alls? I haven't had the pleasure of testing it yet. Yo, what's up, John? Welcome. Happy to have you here on the live. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to continue watching. I'll wait for a response.
How many SKUs of Vercel does this customer use? And so this internal brain agent has sort of emerged as, I think, one of the killer apps of AI. And maybe for a lot of people, this still seems foreign. Like, what are you talking about? There's an agent that can run my company. So excited to make that more of a thing.
It all sounds like amazing in theory, right? Like this brain agent that everyone at a company can talk to. It kind of understands kind of the SOPs and the rules of the company, the best practices, that type of thing. And I've been trying to implement this. You know, I have a 9-person marketing team now that like helps me create content on my channels, on other channels. And my question to you is like, you know, for me, when I use AI personally, I'm inside Codex. That's just the tool that I've been using because I think it's good for knowledge work because I can ask it to create basically any type of document or something and it'll kind of open up in the side window. But what I can't figure out personally is like, how do I enable this for a team? You know, if I were to onboard someone new and I want them to have access to my skills but also like a lot of my skills involve my personal connections, like my personal email. So they can't actually get access to that skill because there's all these like permissions that I need to keep separate, but then oftentimes I want them to be able to use the same skills that I can. And so I'm wondering like at Vercel, like, are you guys kind of trying to create this internally? And like, how do you get across these barriers? And like, what is the actual interface of using agents within a team?
Yeah, even if you have a team of 10 people or a team of hundreds of people like at Vercel, I think the way that I think about tools like Codex is that, or ChatGPT, is that they give you a taste of what AI can do. But your job, the new job of someone that runs a company is to actually enable their workforce with agents and to work on the agent. I think the future of what you would consider to be your intellectual property of the company or your edge against competitors is the ability to create, tune, optimize, and disseminate these agents internally. And you know, while you can have this sort of aha moment when you use something like ChatGPT, maybe to give you an example of our internal agent, it's called V. So anyone within Vercel can go into our Slack workspace and say @V and sort of navigate their day-to-day. Whether it's, you give a great example. So if I need to create new content, for example, our marketing team needs to help promote a new product that we worked on, or communicate a product change, or write an engineering blog post in collaboration with an engineer that worked on a certain capability. All of this goes through this V agent. And this V agent has a number of skills that we continuously sort of update and improve. It has sub-agents. It has sort of, imagine the ability to create like a virtual employee team. So there's the content agent that is really good at writing marketing materials. There is the data analysis agent. We internally call this D0, but it's one of the, sort of think of it as like the nexus of intelligence within our company. Like anytime we need to get information about how a customer is doing, or you know, how they could use more Vercel or things like this, we have this sort of D0 agent that is connected to our data warehouse. And so the experience of using an agent actually ends up being extremely user-friendly. Why? Because all you need to do is you join Vercel, you join our chat workspace, and now you sort of have this omnipresent intelligence that can help you. And now you might go to V and say, hey, can you change some information on the website? And so V can still sort of coordinate with other agents. It could delegate a task to Codex if it wanted to. It can create a prototype with V0. It can query Vercel to get information about our production systems. But I think what's key is enabling every company in the world to sort of deploy this brain and this intelligence and continue to sort of optimize it over time.
I have a lot of questions based on this. My first one is, do you have like a team that manages V? Like that, yes. Where, okay, you have a team. What does that team look like? How big is it? And like, what do they do on a day-to-day basis?
So maybe to back up, I wanted to share a little bit about our product development philosophy at Vercel. When we have a vision of the future that can be informed by pains that our customers have or things that we notice internally could be better, we try to solve that problem ourselves first. So this idea of let's have an agent that can help with every aspect of our job sort of emerged pretty obviously. Like you mentioned, like anyone that uses ChatGPT notices, oh, it can reason. But ChatGPT doesn't have access to my internal knowledge base and customer records and the set of best practices of how we build software, etc. And so the inspiration was, anytime you talk to somebody, could there have been an agentic intelligence layer that could have gotten you that information sooner? So that was sort of like the inkling, the inspiration for it. Next thing is, how do we build this? And so Vercel has built a number of agentic infrastructure services and tools, right? So we built the AI SDK that helps developers talk to any model in the world. We built AI Gateway, which helps you get tokens from any model in the world. At the end of the day, what we realized is that, okay, if there's an agent like V, I don't want it to necessarily be Claude or Codex or OpenWeight. At the end of the day, the customer doesn't matter. And ideally, we autonomously choose the best model for each task. So we almost thought of V as a superset of all agents in the world. And so we designated a few folks to sort of like try it out and build this conversational experience. First, it started out as a support assistant. And that alone was extremely useful. Why? Because we are hiring new people. And also in Slack, we talk to a lot of our customers. And so anytime that you have a question about how Vercel works,
curious, are they using
we
Buzz?
wanted to have an @Vercel functionality that could know anything about Vercel. And that in itself was super, super, super helpful because it became sort of like this easy way of giving support to our customers. But the difference between an AI assistant and an agent is that an agent can do things for you. And so we started thinking in terms of skills and in terms of jobs to be done. So this, we gave it a name, so V, for our internal purposes. And so we wanted to have a clear distinction between the customer-facing agent, the agent we give users of Vercel, which is at Vercel, and the agent that runs our company. So V is sort of the shorthand for this. So we created the V team. The other thing we realized in this process, and maybe this goes at the heart of your question, is it's actually pretty hard to assemble all of the tools, all of the frameworks, and all of the infrastructure to make something like this happen and to improve it over time. And so that gave inspiration for us we built V, and then we shared the framework that we used to build it back to the world. We call this Eve. You might sound like we're super creative with our names, V, Eve, Vercel, but Eve is sort of the, Next.js or React, what they did to the web. They made it really easy to build websites and web applications. The thing that I think every knowledge worker, every individual, every entrepreneur will want in the future is to have an agent that they can call their own. And this is what we're helping people enable with Eve.
Got you. Yeah, I think, this is something I've spent a lot of time thinking about. Like, how do you give the normal person the access to not only just have an agent that has a bunch of context, but to also kind of like customize it? And I think, although it feels like now that OpenClaw was kind of a fad, if you look at the Google Trends, it's like gone way down. I do think it unlocked kind of a magic moment, or there's a reason it went viral in the first place. It wasn't because there was some secret paid promos by OpenClaw. I think there was a genuine desire for people to put an agent on a computer and let it do things for you.
I had a lot of epiphanies from OpenClaw that informed the development of Eve. I think you're absolutely spot on. One of those things is that OpenClaw showed just how much a coding agent can do, back to my initial point. Like, what is OpenClaw fundamentally? It's the raw intelligence of the model plus every tool at its disposal, right? Like
a full access, yeah.
It can write code, it can run it, and it can have access to everything. And that's magic.
To the point where it could do things accidentally. And like, I think I remember listening to Peter, who created OpenClaw. He said something like that he asked for something, and then it found an API key on his computer, and it did something that he didn't even ask for. And I think that was kind of the magic moment. They added the heartbeat, which was this thing that kind of initiated it to wake up.
There's another really important thing about OpenClaw, which is soul.md. So when you create an OpenClaw, or when you use OpenClaw, you're not just taking the off-the-shelf agent that somebody else built. Clearly, Claude, for example, it's a great agent, but Claude is Anthropic's agent. It has its own set of principles, and sure, they give you ways to customize it and whatnot, but it's not truly yours. It doesn't have a soul of its own, right? And so I think that was another really big unlock, which is, what is this soul.md file? It's just literally markdown text that defines the genesis of that model. So when you create an agent with Eve, we basically learned from that, and basically an Eve agent at its most basic is a folder with an instructions.md file in it. So it's like the soul of your agent that's going to help you run your company, for example. And then the other thing that we learned is it's awesome that it can run code, write code. It has a computer for it, right? Like the whole Mac Mini thing was actually quite meaningful, right? Like, people realized, okay, this agent can do anything under the sun, but it's dangerous. And it needs a space, it needs its own thing. It give the agent some space, right? And so people bought Mac Minis. And that basically, giving an agent a computer massively improves its performance, its reasoning performance, and its ability to deliver outcomes for you. And so what's really fascinating is, it's not too unlike hiring a knowledge worker. What is the first thing a modern firm does when they hire a human? Here's your computer. IT gave us a MacBook. It has a bunch of programs installed. It's logged into all of your key systems. And so we wanted to give you that as well for your own agents that you build, but we wanted to build a secure and efficient environment for it to run. And so the security part is that you define the tools, the human in the loop approvals, and the data access controls for anything that the agent can do. And the other aspect of it is it doesn't assume that the agent is always running in a computer, which is actually kind of counterintuitive. I just said an agent gets better if it has a computer, but not every agent needs a computer that's running 24/7. And so in our lingo of the Vercel and cloud world, we call this serverless. The idea is that if the agent is not doing anything, it can go to sleep. Maybe another metaphor is imagining a Mac Mini that hibernates when the agent doesn't have anything to do so that it doesn't use electricity. And so because at Vercel we run billions of deployments, we needed a mechanism such that agents can be very, very, very efficiently operated and run. And so that's another sort of ingredient that we learned from the OpenClaws of the world. Okay, if we're gonna run these things at massive scale and we need to run them securely, how can we create infrastructure that enables that?
Got you. That makes sense. Yeah, I think all of the big AI labs who are like kind of releasing a product that is an agent on a computer is trying to shake it into people. They're like, this is a computer, it has a computer, and it's not easy to communicate to the average people. OpenAI is struggling with that right now, where they're like literally tweeting, they're like, GPT work is an agent with a computer. And it's not easy to convey that as you interact with a chatbot. It's like, what does that even mean? And and I'm even struggling with it. And I think you can kind of divide, whether you look at Anthropic or OpenAI, like you can kind of divide their products into like how much computer access they have. It's like the chatbot doesn't have any computer. GPT work has some computer. It can't run terminal commands, but then Codex can run terminal commands, but you can only get it on your computer because they don't have. And so I think that is actually the computer aspect of agents, I think, is one of the parts that makes it really confusing at this stage right now.
I agree. And my goal with the agents that we build in V is that, whether you're an intern that just joined Vercel or you're a super experienced engineer or you're somewhere in between, I don't think I think that's sort of the implementation detail that the agent builder needs to know about. What I want for the future is that someone that's building an agent can very carefully define governance, data access control in the security model, right? Because agents are interacting with customer data. So you can't just be like, I don't know, man, it runs a computer and it has access to like all of the databases of everything. You have to be really, really, really thoughtful about it. That's literally our new job, right? But whether it runs one or it runs a million computers, completely inconsequential to the end user. In fact, you can think of these agents as being orchestrators. In fact, when someone goes to our Slack and says @V, they're really talking to the orchestrating agent, the one that could delegate a task to a million computers, to one computer, maybe even no computer. We have customers of Vercel that have built agents that have so much usage that they figured out ways to make the computer smaller and smaller and smaller just for the sake of cost efficiency. And so I think my hope for the future is that the very technical people can sort of know, like, oh, this particular conversation with this agent resulted in all of this usage of computers and whatnot. But for the most part, it's all about getting high quality outcomes, high quality analysis, high quality, accurate information. Performance is becoming more and more of the talk of town, right? Like people really care for fast models and fast execution. So that's another aspect of like, how do you get your agent to be delightful?
Okay, so let's say for a sec, I wanted to create a V agent for my team.
Yeah.
My first question with this, and this is something that I've realized talking to a lot of business owners who are like kind of know about agents, and they're confused on whether you want one agent that's like a god agent that knows everything, or if you want a team of agents that sort of like share a knowledge base? Because the conversation that I'm having with a lot of business owners is like, well, the marketing team has access to these things, and the finance team, like, I don't even want the marketing team to know about certain finance documents.
Totally.
And so, like, that's my question is like, how, if I were to be creating my own V agent for my company, how do I think about that? You know, God agent question. Or yeah.
So first of all, I'm a user experience guy. You know, I started Vercel because I was frustrated with how slow creating software was and how slow the average website and web application experience was. So I always try to work backwards from the user experience. The ideal user experience with an agent is the Star Trek computer or the Iron Man Jarvis. It's ambient computing, and I don't need to target a specific capability. That's why we're reasoning with agents to begin with. It's like, there's probably...
Do a quick pause, catch up on comments. Yo, what's up, Derek? Good timing. It's Movie Monday. It's Ideation Monday. Kind of planning a couple different bootcamp ideas, trying to single down, just trying to narrow down what we're going to do to make sure it's applicable across anything, right? You can reuse the foundation of what we're going to learn in this bootcamp for any industry, any workflow, you know, just learning the core fundamentals of Buzz. And we're also watching this interview because I didn't get a chance to watch it this weekend. So figured, hey, why not? Also, Muddy, when you're transcribing this, make sure you link this Riley Brown interview with Guillermo Ranch, I believe is his name. Yeah, Guillermo Ranch. And we're going to keep playing.
Like hundreds, if not thousands of internal tools that people at Vercel have built that I don't even know they exist, frankly. There's just too much, right? And so when you have these intelligent agents, they can act as routers. Our internal Eve agent is a router. So if you ask it about Vercel knowledge, it goes to the capability that we have for looking up our documentation, our knowledge base, etc. If you ask about, if you need to help a customer with a support case, it has a support agent within it that has access to our support ticket infrastructure. Okay, so that answers sort of, my perspective is that it's more on the God model. And maybe to give you a metaphor, because I really think that what we're doing here is we're redefining how companies of the future will work. When you join a corporation, they might give you a corporate phone. And that corporate phone is already pre-configured with your identity and with a set of applications. You have the application for the, internal chat, you have the application for this and that. So I think the internal agent that helps you run the company is not unlike that. Is the job of the new sort of IT department is to say, what are the capabilities that we're bundling into this agent? And also, crucially, how do we manage identity and who gets to access what information? Which is also extremely business specific. It depends on how regulated your business is. If you're a small startup, I can believe that, your 9-person team, they all have pretty equal access to most of the information of the company. Maybe 2 have information to the financials, or maybe the distinction I remember when I started Vercel was like, some of us had, read-write admin. But I think most of the first 10-person Vercel team had read access to almost everything, right? And so the job of the person that works on this foundational agent is to determine the access control, the tools, the guardrails, the audit trails, and like I said, this is actually pretty hard work to do, and why we wanted to create a framework that made that the fundamental job, because wiring up the model, wiring up the infrastructure, and all of that, we can customers can offload to us.
That makes sense. And so, I guess the agent would also be able to see where the message is coming from. So it's like, okay, if it gets sent in this channel, it'll delegate to this sub-agent or access these certain files. That makes a lot of sense.
Totally.
I guess, because what you're telling me is like so appealing. Like being able to create your team's agent. And I don't think anyone's cracked the interface for this yet. And I know you guys are building a framework. You deal with a lot of developers. I guess what I'm dying for is like a way some sort of interface to understand it. Because even the technical people, like I've even showed technical people, Eve, where I'm like, can you help me make sense of this? And I think it's still at a stage where it's not super easy to like fully understand. And so I guess, yeah, I just wish there was like an interface where I could go in and like set these rules. Maybe I'm talking to an AI and it's configuring it. I guess
the way that most of these agents are built is that you're talking to an AI that is helping you maintain your Eve project. You'll hear me use the word file system or folder a lot. I find that it makes the world really easy to understand if you think about it as a hierarchy of files and folders. So the way that an Eve agent works is that you start with that instructions file that says, you are the agent that helps run Riley's business. You can even have some context about who you are, like our business is we disseminate information about AI, and our values are transparency, we're not opinionated, and we love shipping things, like something like that, right? Okay, but that agent still knows nothing. It's a tabula rasa. It just has the raw intelligence that comes from the model, and it has a basic set of instructions. How can it do something useful for you? Well, you talked about, okay, let's help the marketing team create content. And let's say that one of the things that you really care about is posting on your blog. Okay, so in an Eve agent, the first thing you do is you can create a tools folder, and you can now start exposing tools to the agent. And so you can say, let's say that your blog is running WordPress or some system like that. Now you can say to the agent, now you have a tool to read and write blog posts to WordPress. Okay, great. You created that file, WordPress.ts on that folder, and then you ship your agent. You use the word channel, also very important. This agent needs to communicate to your team in some channel. So Eve supports every channel under the sun. It can be WhatsApp, it can be Telegram, it can be Slack, it can be Microsoft
iMessage?
Teams. It can be iMessage, yes.
Amazing.
And so the next question is, okay, I created the agent, I gave it this sort of soul, I gave it access to WordPress. Now you hire an intern. Can the intern ship any blog post that it authors together with your internal agent to prod? You probably don't want that. And so this is the job of, like, at some point, maybe Riley, you were working on your Eve agent, or someone in your team you designate as sort of the agent administrator. You're gonna say, okay, if the person lives within a certain part of the organization, we let them write directly to WordPress. Another approach that I've seen people take is that when they interact with the intern over Slack or over Telegram or whatever, you have to authenticate with WordPress. So you delegate to an existing permission system that you already have. So the Eve agent ends up being sort of the facilitator of the transaction, but it doesn't have direct access to WordPress itself. It will help you sort of draft up the content. So this is just an idea that we cooked up in this conversation, but imagine that every day you start realizing, that's really powerful. I just unblocked my entire team to be able to draft up blog posts that go directly to WordPress. But tomorrow you hear an escalation, and you hear, hey, @Riley, I just saw your blog post. I read your most recent blog post. It reads like complete Claude slop. What do you do? And you go into your team and say, guys, what did we just do? We became really productive and we started shipping a lot of slop. You know what you do next? You work on the content writing skill of your Eve agent. And so this is the meta work that we will all be doing in the future. We're not working on the blog post itself. You did not go to the intern and scold at him for like, hey, what do? You shipped a bunch of slop. You're putting that intelligence into the agent in the form of skills, in the form of tools, and of course, over time you can get more sophisticated, and it's not just about blog, like how can we infuse the content writing capability with what people are saying on X about your business.
I was gonna say that, like, a lot of the skills that I find very useful for content ends up just being like grounding in some relevant source. And so you can put, I call them like plugins, like there's one called Scrape Creators. It's some API that I found that scrapes content from certain channels. And so like before it ever writes anything or before it ever ideates an idea for YouTube or a packaging concept like a title and thumbnail, it'll go and like look on social media and find those things.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, okay, so if I'm creating a V agent, yeah.
I don't think I ever did this. Let me go to my YouTube team real quick. Did we incorporate last 30 days skill? I can't spell skill into our pipeline. For example, when I share an idea I want to generate, there should be a validating step. I think our step might be more manual. Please confirm. Wow, cannot spell a.
I'd want to add certain APIs, and you can add, you can call them plugins, or like, how do we distinguish between plugins and skills? Can you add plugins to skills, or or are they all just skills?
Text. So going back to you got that escalation that says,
Derek's got Buzz set up over the weekend, working tomorrow on getting agents inside, but I do have my main agent in Discord connected to be the mediator. Got this from your video, and I think it's an amazing idea. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm excited to see what you build. Yeah, and knowing you, Derek, I know you already have a lot of moving pieces between. I'm not sure if you're still using OpenClaw, if you fully migrated to Hermes, but nevertheless, like, if I may suggest, don't just go trying to recreate the same team. Maybe create a team focused around one particular vertical within your existing system, and then connect the necessary agents so that they stay in the loop, so that that context from your current system can get carried over and shared, and vice versa, right? That's why I'm really just focused on marketing related work here in Buzz, because I love the collaborative approach that I can take with my AI agents. So it's just a mix of collaboration and automation, and I love it. I absolutely love it from this perspective. Whoops.
It says, Riley, you're shipping a lot of blog posts, but they have too many M dashes. And so this is what's beautiful about that idea. It's just
I have no M dashes across everything.
You go to your agent, and in the folder skills, you say content writing.md, and you say, this is how we write. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. You also talked about, I think that the future of work will be the agent becoming a lot more proactive as well. So Eve can have a schedule, for example.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this? I'm going to pause this movie time to talk about the Buzz Bootcamp. You know, I'm thinking more and more, not only from a selfish standpoint, but I'm actually going to be building out a workflow that I'm going to be utilizing, a team of agents that I'm going to be relying on for one of our offerings, right? Would you rather see that than me build some boilerplate setup that I'm going to eventually trash? What are your thoughts here? Because if I do go down this path, chances are this might be the first bootcamp where we host them as premieres, and I'm there in the audience commenting with you, but they're pre-recorded and pre-edited, right? So I would just take one day and 12 hours, I would just record the bootcamp. And then I would splice it up into multiple episodes, premiere it each day, and just show up each day with the premiere. What are your thoughts with this approach? Because if I take this direction, it's actually something I'm going to use. And it's not just something placeholder, right? Something boilerplate. So you actually get to see how I'm building what I'm building. Rather than some surface level copy paste a prompt that, you know, you'll still have to fine tune after the fact. Don't get me wrong. You'll still have to fine tune if you're ever going to take this bootcamp and the lessons in the bootcamp into your industry or offering. But I'm kind of liking this idea more and more and more. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this. Like, the live stream bootcamps have been great. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like we can solve a few problems, get rid of a lot of the dead space between, yeah. I don't have to worry about exposing secrets because I just blur them in post. Yeah. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Also, this is teasing something. I might have had a brilliant idea. I don't know if it's brilliant or not, but it's another one of those things that's going to be a future offering. You know my belief. I don't think paywall or content should be paywalled, especially content in the space that it moves so quickly. For you to charge for a course, that course becomes outdated within days, weeks, right? But what if we launch like the go-to free academy, and the way we make money is just like what's that podcast that's blown up recently? TBMC or Derek knows who I'm talking about. TP something with the two guys. They make a lot, like they make their money off of ad space, off of selling ad space like they're Formula One drivers or Formula One cars. We can do something similar with Academy, reaching out to the biggest and best brands that we want to promote. Yeah, anyway, that's the idea behind Academy, but it's in the making, right? I'm not going to show off that channel quite yet. It'll be a smoother flow, but then I can also just chill with you guys in the audience and answer questions as well, and just chat and be present, rather than answering questions while also trying to perform the task at hand. Because I think the raw footage was great from OpenClaw and Hermes' perspective, because there's a lot of steps that are involved, but Buzz is just so much easier to deploy things and set things up. I feel like me pre-recording it and then premiering it across the course of, 3, 4, 5 days might be the move. It might be the move. I'm glad you like it though, Derek. Thank you. To work in Buzz and reply for my main agent. Always on factory to do things. Okay, nice. I migrated this weekend from, okay. Wow. Sad day. You left us, Derek. You left the lobsters. I don't blame you. Big advocate. Use what works best for you, I'm going to take it as a yes that everybody loves that idea. If you're watching the recording of this and you don't, I'd just love to get everyone's feedback on that front. But we're going to continue movie time.
Every day at night,
TBPN, that's the one. Yeah, I'm thinking Academy might be something legit from that perspective. And reaching out to all the other creators who don't sell courses but could easily sell courses and say, hey, I have this really great idea. I see you're not about that course life, just trying to extract money. Let me know what you think about this. Would you ever want to create videos for it? And then we do some type of rev share between all the sponsor ads. That's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Bring in the likes of Riley Brown, Greg Eisenberg, turn it into a working business model, and then do a rev share based off of the number of people contributing to the academy. I think it could be something. It could be nothing. I don't know. But I'm loving the idea. And I wasn't planning on sharing that. So if anyone's interested in working on that type of idea, you let me know.
Parses keywords. It gets replies from your posts. And from that, it can do something. It can draft up new content. It can even give you a report inside of Slack. And this we actually have found to be extremely helpful at Vercel. The idea that our agents proactively give us information. So every Monday, I have my internal agent give me a download of what's happening across every product area. What are the key metrics that I care about? So you can have the agent be doing thinking in the background on your behalf. And I think it's not just about, I think most of the world still thinks about agents as something you prompt. But I think there's a lot of alpha in thinking about, can we sort of automate even the prompting such that the agent can be doing useful work for me while I'm not on the computer.
I think one of the limitations for me, and I have a lot of automation set up that trigger an agent to do a certain task, and it is really useful. One thing that I'm struggling figuring out how to set up, especially at the team level, is to get outside things to trigger the agent. You know, and there's many ways I think you could do this. But yeah, like, do you guys have any of that set up? Like, if some event happens,
Totally.
it automatically. Okay, yeah. Can you talk about that?
So I think events that originate in systems like Stripe, like there is a refund request. We make it really easy to connect all those systems. In fact, when we sat down and we thought about what makes it really hard to build an agent, it's actually not the proof of concept part. Because anybody in the world can sit down, open Claude Code or Codex, and build an agent in the sense that, like, when you're prompting it, you realize what it becomes capable of. What we talked about with OpenClaw, like, the raw intelligence is already there. What's hard is securely connecting it to your systems. So we built a capability on Vercel called Vercel Connect that gives your agents access to 100+ systems, but it doesn't just give them full read, write, everything access right away. It gives you, the developer, the control. And that might mean that you subscribe to an event and then you send it to your agent. You can say, hey, every time Stripe has a failed payment, let the agent know. Every time we get an email, let the agent know. And so you start thinking about the world in terms of events. In fact, I mentioned that a lot of our agent interactions are happening in Slack. Slack is just another event. Is someone said something and the agent, that gets fed into the agent's brain. And so any connector of this sort of repertoire of connectors can originate some kind of behavior in the agent.
Got you. That makes sense. Yeah, that's just something we've been thinking about a lot because you're right. Everything is just an event. It's just things happening. And then when something happens, if an agent can take care of it, it should take care of it. And I think I've automated none of that in terms of what I could possibly automate, which is really interesting.
A mental model. So I mentioned that the thing that I'm excited about with Eve is that when I started Vercel, the most imminent thing that I needed to build was a website. Like, it felt like, how do I put my fingerprint in the world? What is one of the earliest things that you do when you create a company? You register in Delaware, if you're in the United States or even internationally, you incorporate, you choose a name, and so you register the domain name, and you ship a website. Even a website that says like, hey, we're in business, or welcome to the minimum viable sort of identity of your company on the internet. What I believe will happen in the future is that even before you build a website, you're going to build that agent that's going to help you build a company. It's going to be your factory. It's going to be the trusted partner and advisor in everything you do that's constantly learning about the trajectory of your business. And so it's extremely critical that as you sort of evolve your business, this agent gets access to more of these data streams of knowledge and information. And everything really is an event in this world. Another important factor there is self-improvement. So whenever you start a company, you're constantly learning, you're teaching your employees, you're helping them, learn from mistakes, learn from incidents, learn from customer feedback, etc. It's going to be very important that your agent over time can improve. And so with Eve, we thought about, okay, if there is a baseline of information that your agent has, how do you evaluate the agent? Can you write tests, or can you give it exams so that you actually know that you're making forward progress as this agent sort of gets more sophisticated and more capable over time? So think of this as sort of even more fundamental than the .com of your company.
Yeah. And do you guys put evals into Slack? Are there any ways to evaluate whether an agent does well or doesn't do well? Could you based on someone, could an employee who got a response from V, could they say oh, this wasn't a good response? And okay, they can do that.
Yeah. So every response that we give on Slack has and by the way, maybe to also give kudos to the Slack team, like Slack is kind of becoming like an agent operating system of sorts, right? Because like it used to be for messages between humans, now it's humans and agents. And so they have built UI that is just really easy for the developer to add, right? So like the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, super easy to add. And so every Eve agent we create, for example, at night, we can have a job that aggregates all of the negative feedback and proposes the next stage of self-improvement. We can say, hey, we got 5 thumbs down on these answers. What are the things that the agent itself can even propose how to improve itself? Oh, I missed this. Oh, this person critiqued this part of my response, or they said I hallucinated or whatnot. I do think it's very important that humans are still involved in that loop, but I think increasingly more and more of the job of the agent getting better is also being done by the framework. So the framework itself comes with evals that are basically test cases, right? When you build a web application or a website, you write unit tests and you make sure that the logic is sound. When you create an Eve agent, you write evals, also to ascertain that the logic is sound, but that the information it gathers is sound and it's accurate. There can be evals about personality. At some point, we were hearing from people that our internal company agent was too verbose. It was speaking too much. And so we kind of basically gave it a better personality, and you can create evals around that as well.
So do you view this like in the near future, like over the next few years, do you think it's just going to be mostly technical people building agents for companies, or do you view this as something that whether you can code or not, you'll be able to create agents for your team?
So because building software is being so democratized, think of it as like, again, let's go back to that idea of like I'm starting a company and like the first website I built is sort of like I could have used any service on the planet, drag and drop, give me a free website with my domain name, like anything like that. And so I think that first building block of your agent, everybody's going to be able to create. I think that over time, I mean, the whole business runs on this. Hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue are dependent on the well-being of this agent, because our sales reps depend on it, our support team depends on it, I depend on it, and so this is a very important piece of software. And so I think it's a combination of everyone can contribute to the agent, information, skills, critique, feedback, and then there is engineers that are working on the core system loop, the access to data, the governance, security, all of those pieces that I think need to be more technically minded. But I don't think that the code writing part is as important these days. I think I would describe it as people that really understand data flows, threat models, and architecture of systems design, so that they can like carefully think about the operational excellence of the agent and the security model of the agent.
Very interesting. Yeah. Because I think there's a lot of people, business owners, not all of them are technical, who are reaching out and they're trying to create agents. And so I'm just trying to like leave people with like a tangible thing that they can do, like a point to a place where they can go to kind of build their first agent or build their V. Because I think with what I've realized with these agent tools, all of them, is we can have conversations about it. We can talk about it. I can learn. I can use AI to like learn about it, but nothing hits like doing it. And I think that's kind of like once you do it, then you're like, oh, I can do that. That means I can do this thing, and this thing, and like kind of your world opens up as you do even the most trivial things. And so
a recommendation there would be, what I've seen give people an aha moment is create an Eve agent. Go to eve.dev. Deploy your first agent, but connect it to your favorite chat medium. If your company works in Slack, connect it to Slack. If you like WhatsApp, connect it to WhatsApp. And pick one boring or, kind of pick a toil task of your business that has a system to it but it's not, it's something that if you could automate it away, you'd absolutely automate it away and write down the scale of that task. It could be, for example, something we do a lot at Vercel is we put a lot of work into drafting up our product changelog. When you go to vercel.com/changelog, every piece of content there narrates the storytelling or evolution of our product. And in many ways, that changelog is a grounding for my engineering team. How do I know if an engineer is being productive or not and whatever? Like, well, one of the things that I do is I measure it by, have you shipped something that we can communicate to customers is an improvement to our platform? So one changelog that's about to go out, maybe by the time you watch this is already gone out, is we improved the end-to-end deployment process of an application or agent to Vercel by 7 seconds. 7 seconds we've shaved off over a lot of infrastructure work. So when you go to vercel.com/changelog, you're gonna find that. We improved our product and we shaved down 7 seconds. So it used to actually take a lot of work for an engineer that is in the depths of infrastructure to collaborate with the marketing team and get that thing out into the world. Because we have an agent internally, we've cut down that process into one Slack thread that the engineer creates. The agent refines what they're telling me, because engineers are sometimes so in the weeds that they struggle to communicate things in a way that is, I call it context free. Maybe they start talking about, computer science or like, hey, can we boil it down to the business benefit? Simple, 7 seconds. It's enabled for every customer. It's free. So that's kind of like a little formula that I have. People want to know what's the benefit, how much does it cost, and what do I do to get it? Mm-hmm. And so that formula that I developed over many years of product marketing skill, I put into that Eve agent. And so for the listeners, think about something like that. Maybe it's like quote unquote a secret sauce of something you do really well, but takes a lot of time and you want to do more of it. And so start with that skill, connect it to a communication channel, ship it on Vercel.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think to kind of, I know we're running up on our time here, but what are you most excited about? It could be a model, it could be computer use or some browser use. Like, what unlock do you think we're going to get in the next 3 to 6 months that will make using agents way more fun or way more effective?
Very simple. Cost of intelligence continuing to go down. More intelligence for more people, more variety of models. One of the great things about building with Eve and building in Vercel generally is that we give you access to every provider of models and every model in the world.
It's model agnostic. Yeah.
Totally model agnostic, right? And that plays into your benefit because you retain ownership of your data, of your skills, you get to choose models, and you get to benefit from the competition. There is some news that's gonna go out tomorrow about models getting dramatically cheaper. Literally tomorrow. And if you were building in this way, you're gonna benefit. So the other one is fast. Models are gonna get way faster. I think we're gonna start seeing what happened with the personal computing.
Yeah, I agree with Guillermo. Like, people keep thinking cost of using these frontier models are gonna go up. I think it's just gonna keep going down. Like, I'm glad somebody else sees it. Jesus.
Which is that, we got the iPhone. If you could travel back in time or even pulled out the first iPhone out of a drawer, you'd be astonished at how slow it was. The refresh rate. Like, you would open an app, it would do nothing for several seconds, and then slowly, at maybe 10 frames per second, the application would show up in front of your eyes.
Right.
That's where AI is at today.
Yeah, I think for most knowledge tasks, I just want faster. My biggest problem isn't oh, I wish this was better. It's just why did I have to wait 14 minutes for this? And if it was 10 times faster, it would be insane. And I feel like how long do you think it'll take for the models at like a 5.6 level, like Soul level?
Days, if not week. Well, I mean, maybe days is the most like optimistic. I think we're literally like weeks, single-digit months away. One of the data points that I can share is on the open weight, and this is why I'm excited about open weight models. The competition between the inference providers around open weight is so extreme that GLM dropped. We added it to Vercel AI Gateway. It's an incredibly good model, GLM 5.2. Within days, we had a fast variant that was 4 times faster. We have more providers coming online for GLM that keep raising the bar of token per second performance. GLM 5.2 fast is astonishingly fast, and it's only getting faster.
What did you think of
I think
Kimi?
we're going to get
Kimi K3?
Same is going to happen to Kimi. I think we're still in the early innings of that.
What did you think of the model, like in general? Like, do you think it's really good? You think it's up to par with like an Opus 4.8?
I think GLM 5.2 was already in that category. I think Kimi raises the bar. I think Kimi can do things that perhaps only, Fable class models could do. Not quite in all of its dimensions, but for example, when we evaluated it for cybersecurity, it outperformed Opus 4.8 clearly. And it was almost at, Soul level. Soul's still at the frontier. But again, this is the beautiful thing about having choice, is that depending on what you're doing, you're gonna choose different price-performance ratios. Grok, for fast and highly accurate, like if I have to choose today a model that's gonna be my workhorse model, that would be like the default. If I have an agent that is my Slack, and needs to do a wide variety of tasks, and it has to do it quickly because there's another person waiting on the other side, I would absolutely go with Grok 4.5 or GLM in terms of like price performance. Now, I mentioned proactivity. What about, for example, at night, finding opportunities in our business, crunching data and extracting novel insights for the executive team? Well, those things I can throw more reasoning power, and it can take more time. I might even want to throw a consortium of models at it. Why not have Kimi and Soul and Grok come up with 3 points of view and then give you the summary? And this is why I find it so interesting, right? Like, we're still in the early innings of understanding what are the principles of design and user interface engineering, but for agents.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to an agent interactively, I want fast. If the agent is doing an asynchronous job, I want accuracy.
Yeah, you don't care if it takes all night. Like, it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly.
If you're, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
We're about to launch a capability in AI Gateway, which is you as a developer, or even your agent can say, please do inference, please like get me tokens, but in batch. And I don't care how long you're gonna take. Like, you communicate. It's a little bit like putting in a buy order and you're not worried when it gets fulfilled, right? You're just willing to wait. And then anyone in this market can fulfill your order. Almost like a spot market for intelligence, right?
That makes sense, yeah.
And this is extremely exciting because you might say, hey, like, come up with a proof or disproof of the Jacobian conjecture for 2 dimensions, and I don't really care when, but spend this many tokens. And someone at some point is going to say, hey, I already paid for the GPU. It's connected to the internet.
Yeah.
No one is using it. Let's throw some capacity. It's a little bit like SETI at home. For those who remember, rent out your spare compute capacity, solve hard problems.
Yeah, because if you get it next week, it doesn't matter. You're still solving a really crazy thing. Anyway, I really appreciate you joining. I think you guys are going to do great. One thing I didn't realize is how much business owners don't want to get locked into a certain provider. I mean, like Claude Tag is their kind of, I don't want to say it's their version of V, but it's like kind of an agent you can add to Slack. And so many people are resistant to it because they don't want to get locked into only Claude's models. So I think that is
Yeah.
something that you guys will have going for you. That's
And
really cool.
and it goes beyond, you know, the model. I think it's not about having Claude in your workspace. It's about having an intelligence of your own.
Right.
So there's almost like an element of like baptizing your agents, like this is our agent, this is our company. It's, you know, I actually liken it to the web, because the web was all about I own my domain name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the king of my own domain, and I think we're now we're living through the version of that for the intelligence age.
100%. Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Let's do it sometime soon.
Anytime, Riley. Thank you.
That was a great video. I like that. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Riley. All right. I might have to rename our Monday live streams to Movie Monday, where we just watch videos that I didn't get a chance to watch or that I favorited while I work on things. So it's like a mix, ideation and Movie Monday. I'm kind of feeling that might be the new format on Mondays. I know we originally talked about doing some type of roast, but I like Movie Monday. I like the sound of Movie Monday better. Put a 1 in chat if you like it. Or if you'd rather see me work on things, put a 2. I want to see 1s or 2s, please. Buzz is taking his sweet time. I'm kind of shocked. And I think it's also time for me to... You know, part of me is feeling like I want to test these YouTube pipelines on a more efficient model, because I just had, through all of the trial and error of testing this YouTube team, I noticed that my usage spiked so much between these 3. So now I'm kind of thinking, do I test them on Terra? You know what I mean? Like, I think it might be time, and I think we also should hit 5. Hey, what's up, Genesis? Right click on the channel to organize into sessions. Oh, look at that. Nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, I hadn't gotten around to it yet, primarily because we're still building out and testing, but thank you. This is awesome. This is awesome. That's good to know. I was originally looking for it here, right? But it's not an option here. You would think it'd be like create new parent category. You know what I mean? But it's not. I like it. I like it. Hey, thank you, Genesis. Okay. Looks like we got 2 1s. To no 2s. Seems like it's going to be a winner. Seems like it's going to be a winner. We're going to lock in Movie Mondays here. Because I like it. I get to work on stuff and we get to watch something. And I'll be mindful of like not saying things. Long time user, 2 weeks. Nice. I think I'm going on... I mean, you can see all our live streams. We started building in public over here, so I'm not sure when our first Buzz live stream was, but we learned about it a few days prior. From somebody in the audience shared it. So I last streamed 11 days ago. So we probably learned about it 2 weeks ago, but I didn't start playing with it until 11 days ago or 12 days ago now at this point. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going to test Terra across the board. Because I'm just very curious. One little thing I'm noticing is we can't select thinking level here, can we? Yeah, we can't select thinking level here. No, I think you brought it up, but you brought it up after it came up on a live stream. Somebody here in chat, I think it was Sharma. Could be wrong, but I think it was Sharma. It's unanimous. Yeah. Looks like Movie Mondays it is. I'm also on the fence about something. Since we have the OGs in here, I'll share. I'm strongly considering only live streaming 2 times a week. It'd be something I'd put into effect probably September. Because primarily to focus that extra day on long form. I'm just finding my schedule throughout the week is I have to constantly adapt things. And I think before the retainers, 3 live streams a week made sense. But now that I have all these obligations, you know, these set of deliverables I have to meet each month, that takes time, right? I am automating a big portion of it, but nevertheless, I may have to keep it a 2-2 split, 2 live streams and 2 long forms a week. That might be the better pairing. But I love showing up Monday, Wednesday, Friday here. So it's I'm going to continue thinking about it throughout the rest of the month. But I just wanted to share that is something that is on my mind. But Movie Mondays, oh, I love it. Because it could also be silent too. Like, obviously I wouldn't talk. I don't want to talk over Movie Monday. We watch other videos. And I saw the price cuts I've been using on Luna and Max. Okay, nice. What's going on? I'm hearing a lot of noises outside. Okay. I'm going to come back to that. Let me mark that as unread. Come back to that. What is this? Where did you get the creative from this? What is this? Looks so ugly. I got to take some time to work on this. I mean, it's not horrible, but the amount of time it just took B to do that, it's kind of crazy. Could have sworn I told him to check with Dexter, but I never tagged Dexter, so that could have been my error here. But I think it's also time we create some consistency. So I'm just going to wait for him to answer. but I've dialed in a rather consistent approach. We're still in the early stages of planning, just how the creative looks, how it gets generated, before we really start going hard across socials, you know, posting multiple times a day. I don't want to post slop, you know what I mean? But I'm having my Buzz team handle the creative outputs. And when Dexter and Xavier first started, it looked like this, but worse. So I'm a bit shocked that Buzz didn't pick up off of their context. But again, I didn't tag them, so we're learning this together here. Oh my God. Is everyone just copying everybody now at this point? Everyone's just vibe coding until I do X, Y, and Z and they're dancing on stream. Is that what gets the growth? Like, amazing. Amazing. I opened YouTube to look at something and I just saw just a wave of different channels dancing and crazy. Just crazy. Time to beat my son in an intense game of checkers, but can't wait to reveal my new agent in the Discord tonight. Here's some clues. Feed those clues. Think of me as the bloke in the corner of the room who's already spotted the 3 reasons your setup is going to fall over in production while everyone else is still admiring the shiny new model. Mr. Baker. That's hilarious. Well, they ain't gonna get rich on vibe coding the exact same ideas they all got from the same LLM. Yeah. Yep. It is what it is. It is what it is, I suppose. It is what it is. Well, yeah, cool. Listen, we're not gonna set a date for the bootcamp yet. We're gonna continue to, I love what we're doing with it though. It's not gonna be live streams, right? I'm just gonna record it all in one day and then take another day or two to decide how we're going to share it. But stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. It'll be sometime this month for sure. I think the sooner the better. Not necessarily for the sake of attention, but for the sake of relevance. I hope you're going to credit me with those quotes. Yeah. You should also, you should set up a wallet, Mr. Baker, for donations. Make sure Derek incorporates it. Preferably BTC wallet, you know, or a wallet for each major chain. Oh, that's awesome. You were my Toby in my agent group. Toby. Wait, but who are you to Toby, Derek? Are you Michael Scott? Because naturally, Michael Scott, he hates Toby. So I feel like you would be more of a, Dwight maybe. You guys remember that episode when Dwight walks up to Toby? I can't say this on stream, but Toby, I have some questions about the female body. Oh, it was a great episode. It was a great episode. But yeah, I'm stoked about this one. So, and then as far as, what is this? What are you bringing this up for? I'm a bit confused why. Like, why are you bringing up context from the video we just made? Huh? Okay, guess I'm just gonna wait. They're still working, so. Yeah. Yeah, I do got to run some errands. Otherwise, I'm thinking let's do another movie. But yeah, I think it's a great stopping point. So stay tuned. I'll be by Wednesday. We're going to continue working on this in public. But I think we have a solid foundation on what we're going to record. And then I think Wednesday I'll give a little teaser as far as the planned date where we'll premiere the boot camp. That way, I like this idea. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to do my best to minimize my post. So I'm going to optimize, this screen to this screen to this screen. As you can see, there's still some outdated ones with like OpenClaw and then Hermes. Got to make sure that's all consistent with some buzz themes across the board. I mean, if anything, I'd imagine Mr. Baker is more like a Dwight than not. You know what I mean? I'm like trying to think of who's the most like based off of what we know. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. But nevertheless, I want to thank everybody for spending their Monday with me. We'll be back at it Wednesday, same time. Stay tuned this week. I may very well just push we're definitely going to record how to connect Buzz to OpenClaw. I already recorded connecting Buzz to Hermes, but as you've learned, it's kind of broken on my end. The recording, we got it working. So I might focus those 2 videos this week around those 2 integrations. I'm not sure yet, but if you want to see me focus 1 of 2 videos around a specific topic, now's the time to speak. Whether you're watching this live or watching this recording, just drop a comment below and let me know what video you'd like to see us post next when it comes to long form. Otherwise, we'll be back at it Wednesday. Just want to take a moment, say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Thank you, Caval. Thank you, Maestro. Thank you, Alls. Thank you, RVDL with the Sue. Thank you, Militia. Thank you, Out of My Mind. Thank you, Ryan. And I can't keep scrolling up. Just want to thank everybody. Hope you have a great start to the week. Go kick some ass. And I'll see you Wednesday. Until next time. Cheers. Hey, and Pokemon. Hope you have a great rest of the day.